The 18-year-old man who opened fire at a Buffalo Tops grocery store, killing 10 and injuring 3, made his initial appearance on a federal criminal complaint. 18-year-old Peyton Gendron remains held without bail. He appeared in U.S. District Court on charges that include 10 counts each of hate crime resulting in death and using a firearm to commit murder. Additionally, the complaint includes 3 counts each of hate crime involving bodily injury, an attempt to kill, and using a firearm in a violent crime. Gendron was represented by 3 public defenders and told the judge he cannot afford a lawyer. He says he has no property, does not own a car, and has $16 in the bank. Family members of some of the victims were in court and say that they believe someone must have helped him to acquire weapons and body armor. Senate negotiators have not been able to resolve sticking points in a new gun safety bill. Senators wrapped their final in-person meeting on guns Thursday with no deal. That leaves some serious questions about whether the first major gun legislation in 30 years will come to the floor next week. GOP Senator Thom Tillis said it's possible that text of the bill could be ready by today. And Democrat Senator Chris Murphy says negotiations have reached a critical stage, but he's still hopeful the chamber can vote on it next week. One area of debate involves a red flag provision, which would allow a judge to take guns away from someone who is in danger to themselves or others. 2 people were shot and killed at a church Thursday night in Alabama. It happened at St. Stephen's Church. It's in a suburb of Birmingham. Another person was injured and their condition is unknown. Vestavia Hills police say the suspected shooter is in custody but have not released any more details about their identity or a motive. They believe the shooter acted alone and there is no further threat to the community. According to the church's website, there was an event there Thursday evening called Boomer's Potluck. The shooting is still under investigation. We heard stunning testimony about former President Trump's attempts to pressure his own Vice President Mike Pence into rejecting the 2020 presidential election results. This as the January 6th committee continues to give the public a behind-the-scenes look at the day rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol and what sparked the insurrection. NBC's Bree Jackson has more.
A vice president under pressure.
What the president wanted the vice president to do was not just wrong. It was illegal and unconstitutional.
During the 3rd public hearing of the House committee investigating the Capitol insurrection, testimony centered around former President Trump's failed attempts to pressure his own vice president to overturn the 2020 election results, an illegal strategy pushed by Trump attorney John Eastman.
It is unambiguous that the vice president does not have the authority to reject electors. There is no suggestion of any kind that it does.
Trump's inner circle testifying about taunts and heated conversations after Pence refused to carry out demands.
It was a different tone than I'd heard him take with the vice president before.
I remember hearing the word wimp. Either he called him a wimp. I don't remember if he said, "You are a wimp, you'll be a wimp."
Never before seen images show Pence sheltering underground as rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, making phone calls to Pentagon and congressional leaders. The mob coming within 40 feet of the then vice president as he was rushed to a secure location.
We're fortunate for Mr. Pence's courage on January 6th. Our democracy came dangerously close to catastrophe.
Republicans call the hearings a distraction.
What are they focused on? What gets their primetime billing? It is their seething hatred for Donald Trump and anybody who's ever supported him.
Committee members say Trump's pressure campaign contributed to the January 6th attack, putting Pence's life in danger that day and making the case that the danger to democracy still exists. In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.